Orson Welles may very well be one of the most important directors in history that made one important film and led a career of never being as successful, occasionally making appearances and commercials elsewhere, only to end up voicing a character in a Transformers movie. He was an enigma of the time, who was pushing forward the art of film while also never getting on the same level as someone like Hitchcock. In fact, most of his work was not praised until way after the fact, with some of his films still getting overshadowed today because everyone literally talks about only Citizen Kane, which, yeah, of course that's a really great film, but I love when a hidden gem from a directorial career can emerge. Well, here it is, a public domain film from Orson Welles titled The Stranger. For a second, I thought it was based on a book I read in high school about existentialism, but it's actually a post-World War II film that directly references the horrors of the Holocaust, making this the first film on this box set to deal with real-world dilemmas and shocks. Orson Welles stars as the main character Charles Rankin, who lives in the small town of Harper, Connecticut. On the day of his wedding, he runs into his former colleague, Monique. So what's the problem? Well, they're associates from the former Nazi party, and they're both on the run as criminals. Mr. Wilson is chasing them, who is never given a first name, so don't confuse him with the old guy from Dennis the Menace. There begins a long investigation, with Mr. Wilson suspecting Rankin of being Franz Kinder, the Nazi criminal, while the rest of the town suspects Mr. Wilson of being suspicious, especially after a human and a dog are found dead. There's tons of suspense in this film, and the elegance of Edward G. Robinson's performance as Mr. Wilson gives his role a realistic tone. Orson Welles is also really good, giving a performance that opposes the overly dramatic fluff that was typical of the time. Loretta Young plays his wife, and she does a fine job, and I especially like Mr. Potter, played by Billy House, who brings levity to this film. There is a massive set on display, with a giant town square that was built specifically for this film, and this amazing clock tower that helps heighten the tension. There's a lot of great moments, and while the movie never takes a drastic turn or major twist, it still manages to keep you paying attention. The film has a message about a wolf in sheep's clothing, giving a real-world parallel to Nazi fugitives who did in fact run away to America. This film utilizes disturbing footage from the concentration camps, giving you a true hatred for the main character with a real-world perspective. The movie isn't without its faults though. There's of course strange storyline progressions and motivations. For instance, the beginning of the film has Mr. Wilson release one of the Nazi fugitives so he can follow him towards the real villain Franz Kinder, which is quite a stretch for the imagination, especially when this is happening at the beginning of the film. There's also a scene where Kinder is on the phone, and he seems to be going a bit insane, spontaneously drawing a Nazi symbol on a notepad. Seems a bit forced, but I guess it doesn't distract too much from what is a great movie. It's funny that this film fell into the public domain, seeing that Orson Welles is treasured amongst film enthusiasts today. However, Welles himself didn't think too much of the film, claiming it not to be truly his. Unlike his other productions, this one went on schedule and under budget, so maybe he felt that it had too much Hollywood copy and paste, but I think there's still a ton of other stuff that this movie's offering that makes it different from the other films of the time, falling more in line with something he'd make. There's a couple great shots and interiors, and this movie has that same great pacing that was present in something like Citizen Kane. I guess it's not groundbreaking or risky, but Citizen Kane was such a big story, if not the story, while this is meant to be a smaller story that was a reaction to a very recent war. In that regard, I think the movie is extremely important for today's audiences on how to make a film immediately after a disaster. Orson Welles did it right, and the reality mixed with the cinematic drama creates a film that has great acting, scary visuals, intense pacing, and a finale that's as epic as anything you'd see in a thriller today. It's definitely worth the watch, and easily the best film on this box set so far.